Gewaldig. Where's Yosef Bialik?
He's next to Shalom Aleichem.
All right. Daf Kuvov Amud Aleph.
Really?
Got that.
Of course I did.
We're holding 3 lines down. Ki Osar Avdimi.
Yes, sir.
Ki Osar Avdimi Omar. How many times in Shas does it say Ki Osar Avdimi?
26.
No? The one who gets closest wins.
How did you know that?
4.
139 times.
Wow.
The only reason I checked it up is because my Chavrusha said, it says it at least 100 times in Shas. So I checked it up.
100 how many times?
139.
Okay. Well, this is one.
And it's important for what we're going to say in a second. Ki Osar Avdimi Omar, Mayim or Yishoinim Hechilu Besar Chazer. Because someone did not wash his hands Netilas Yadayim before bread, he ended up eating pork. What was the story?
Went out to there?
No, listen to the story. Crazy story. It seems like it was B'Shas HaShmad. It was a period of time where Klal Yisrael couldn't really show that they eat kosher in public. That's what it seems like, at least from the Medrash. And the story goes as follows. A man walks into a restaurant, and the guy from the restaurant, he looks at him and he thinks he's a goy. And he has 2 types of meat. He has the kosher meat that he gives the Jews, and he has the nevela that he gives the goyim. And this individual, since he was dressed like a goy because they were in hiding or whatever, or not like a goy, but you couldn't tell from him that he was a Jew. So what he would do was he would observe to see if they would wash their hands for hamoitzi.
Why couldn't you see if he was a Jew?
Because he was wearing jeans and a cap. It was a tie. I said it's a shmad.
He had a small
Yeah, I
nose.
said it's a shmad. But it's good. He's holding. Okay. It's true. I'm a kabel. But I was sleeping. I was oinus. Fine. So the shkoyach. See, that's what. It's true.
It's not an excuse.
That's right.
Big Musa, no, he doesn't show up. For the first time since he's giving a shir.
And by the way,
over a year, the first time he never came for a shir.
No, I'm Purim I also missed.
Purim is not considered.
But what's interesting is that at 5 o'clock in the morning, I wrote Yeshua. I said, if you don't see me at 5:17, tell Menachem Mata to give the shir. And I said as a joke, Kimat. And did I not write you that you should tell Menachem to give the shir?
7:17.
No, 5:03. I wrote it. Oh, I said it. It's 7:17. Yeah. Akaban.
What are we doing on Purim this year? Are you going to be here?
We're gonna have to figure out Purim. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, once we're already schmoozing, there's an individual that I would like to say hello to. There's a guy in California. His name is David. I don't know any more than that, but he writes to me. I write back and forth. So Shalom Aleichem, David. It's nice to meet you.
Shalom Aleichem, David.
And he's very on top of stuff. He knew that I didn't give shir, and later on I did give shir, and the charts, the this, the that. He was watching us from Costa Rica. You hear this? Costa Rica, he's watching us.
How the mangoes
Gewaldig.
There too.
Huh?
There were Jews there too.
No, he was there on vacation or something.
I've been there, it's very nice.
Yeah, Menachem Mata is a little worried. He's going to be put in the spot. He didn't show up. Okay.
I don't know what the Magid Shirim are going on here.
Sakaponim, I think we're in the middle of the story here. So the guy walks into the restaurant, the guy looks at him and sees that he's a guy, so he gives him a piece of pork. And now what's very interesting, if you look at Rashi for a second. There's a shayla in the Gemara if it's an avela or pork, but look at Rashi. Top Rashi says, "Achilu b'sar chazer shahoya chen v'nei Yisrael moicher b'sar shchuta liYisrael umavashel umachilam." He would cook it and give it to them as a restaurant. And every guy that walked in, he gave him an avela. What does Rashi say? The word nevela. And a Jew came and didn't wash his hands. He starts off saying that he gives all goyim nevelas, and he ends up saying that he gives this guy chazer. So Mashal says, because everybody's dealing here, how could a Jew sell nevela? What's going on here? And there's different. So basically, the Mashal says that if it happens to you that you have an nevela because you're shechting, so you don't have to incur the loss, you're allowed to sell it. So typically, this guy was selling nevela. It just so happened to be that one day he had a piece of pork. Somebody maybe paid him back. So he gave him, but Rashi's just saying that what was typical, he wouldn't sell pork in his restaurant. He would sell cow nevela to the goyim. At this particular day, it switched off to chazer. Okay, let's continue weiter. He also Ravin, yeah.
The Jew didn't chap that there's that's not the same meat he normally buys. I mean, pork smells differently. It looks.
You know what he noticed?
differently.
It's funny that you mentioned in the Medrash it says that he noticed the price. He says, "Hey, what's going on here? Yesterday you charged me 8. Why are you charging me 10?" The Medrash. He says, "Oh, it's pork. Pork is more expensive." Pork! He went crazy. Pork, yeah. Next time, wash your hands. It's your fault. You're the one that was over. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I don't know. I never tasted pork, so I don't know. Maybe it's similar.
No, it's a very different taste.
Very different taste.
Very
All right.
taste.
Kiyasa Ravin. So we said whoever walked in late. How many times does it say in Shas Kiyasa Ravdimi? The sugi starts Kiyasa Ravdimi 139 times in Shas. How many times does it say Ravin? How many times does it say Ravin in Shas? 111. 111 times in Shas. Why is it important? Because we're going to see in a second. Kiyasa Ravin Omar Rishonim Hechilu Basar Nevelo V'Achroinim Hargus HaNefesh. Oh. Where am I? I skipped. So as we're going to see, my machroinim either caused a woman to get divorced, or my machroinim might have caused this woman to die. What happened? The story with Kedar, the famous story. Chachamim go to this guy's house to sleep, and they say, "Could you do us a favor? Could you watch our purse with money?" He says, "No problem." The next morning, they say, "Okay, where's my purse? Where's our purse?" And he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about. What purse?" Chachamim went to his hotel. He had like a tzimmer. He had what is it called? Breakfast, bed and breakfast. And as in those days, you're worried about the ganovim. So they give it to the Jewish owner and they say, "Here, watch our money, no problem." He takes the money. The next morning, I don't know what you're talking about. They noticed that on his mustache, he had a shtickle left over from breakfast. So they go to his wife and they say, "Your husband Kedar told us that you have our wallet. Could we please have it back?" And as a sign, he said that we should tell you you gave him lentils for breakfast. Oh, lentils? Yeah, that's right. It matches up. And she went and they gave him the money back. The guy comes home and says, "No, I got a good Geneva. Where is it?" And the wife says, "What do you mean? I gave it back to them. Lentils." Either he divorced her or he chopped off her head. One of the two things. So you see that Mayim Achroinim is extremely important, because when you do Mayim Achroinim, one of the things you do is you go like this. You don't have to, but that's part of the
big chiddush that we're using a story. We got a guy who stole to teach.
And before a guy got a pig, fine. But that's it. The point is that I understand. Yeah.
Before it was, you did
do a mitzvah in order that you should the chas v'shalom they shouldn't catch you.
That's why it's dirty. You don't have to. It's dirty because it's dirty.
First question.
Are you saying that counseling wasn't an option?
Sure. And also, you don't learn from him Mayim Chroinim, because Mayim Chroinim your fingers. This is to clean your mustache.
Yeah, but they say they do. You don't know. You watch.
I've
See
them do it.
Right.
But that's not what it's for.
It's not what it's for, but that's typical what it does. Okay. So Ravin says a little bit different than Rav Dimi. Ravin says the first story of the restaurant wasn't Chazer, it was actually Nevela. The second story wasn't that he divorced her, it was actually worse. He killed her. How do you know if Rav Dimi said this or Ravin said this? Also Rav Dimi apko, also Ravin katlo. So Rashi explains very nicely, if a person were to do two things to his wife, divorce her and kill her, in what order would it go? It would be there's only one order. First comes divorce, then comes killing. It is a well-known fact that Rav Dimi came to Bavel, we went from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel before Ravin. It might even be in the number of times that Rav Dimi said things. Rav Dimi said things 139 times. When he came to Bavel, he just went on and on. Kiyosar Rav Dimi. So everybody knows, it's an old thing. Whoever learns Gemara knows Rav Dimi came to Bavel before Ravin. So Memela, Rav Dimi is the one that said divorce, because he's the first one. First you do divorce. And Ravin is the second one in line, and that's killing. So if you want to remember which one holds that she was killed, is the one that came to Bavel second. That's Ravin. The Gemara says it, V'simanach. And if you want a simon, also Rav Dimi apko. Rav Dimi came first to Bavel and he took her out. He said she got divorced. Also Ravin, and then when Ravin came, he said the story happened that he actually killed her. Kidor killed her. Rebbe Abba takes both Rav Dimi and Ravin, and he says, I like the chumrah in both stories. I like the chazer story. It sounds a lot nicer. And I like the killing. It's much more geschmack. The guy walked in the store about chazer, and the guy came home and the lentils, and he chopped her head off, and everything is good. Now, why is chazer more chomer than nevela?
Because that's a kosher animal.
So what? But it's also to eat. It's a nevela. It's straight.
You're not allowed to megadol chazerim. You're not allowed to sell chazerim.
So now you're talking chassidish to me.
No.
P-I-G.
Halacha.
What's worse to eat, a pig or a dead cow?
I think pig
What's?
is worse.
Oh.
Yeah, but do you get
Rashi says that a pig is 2 isurim, it's worse to eat a pig. Why? Because a pig, and this was a chiddush to me, a pig is actually also a nevela. Until now we always learned nevela means a kosher animal that dropped dead.
Yeah.
Rashi says it's a nevela. Now what about isur chalal isur? It's a beautiful question. Isur chalal isur. There's no isur chalal isur. How can you add nevela to a pig?
That's two separate isurim.
It came later, so it's worse. So ain't isur chalal isur. So here's a big yisoid. It's not Isur Chomer. Why is Nevela Isur Chomer on Tamei? Why is it Isur Moisa? Why is it Isur Chomer? Why is it anything? It's a good thing I came on time, Nachum. Yishkoyach, I want to thank you in public. Yishkoyach for taking over. If it was me, I would run. I would not sit here and unprepared. What?
He was worried you weren't going to come, so that's why I came late.
Yeah, I know. That's what he said. You missed a good part of shir. That's all. It's all. When you come late, you miss everything. Okay. Akapanim. Yes, I have your cable, Gary. So Akapanim. So the point is, and listen to this, Rabbi. So there's a tremendous yisoid in Isur Chalal Isur. Isur Chalal Isur is that you don't get two oinchim. You can't get the second oinish because you already have one punishment from the chazer. But in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind, you just did two isurim. You had a nevela and you had a chazer. You're going to get an extra 6 months in Gehenim or whatever it is. You did two isurim. You're over on 2 averis. At the end of the day, you're over on 2 averis. You're asking me how many averis you're over? Not 1, 2, because isur chalal isur on the aver part. So that's why at the end of the day, you are right. Chazer is more chomer, not because of chassidish thing. It's 2 separate isurim.
You get it 6 months.
You get nevela on chazer. You hear that? Nevela on chazer. It's unbelievable chiddush.
Pigatory.
What?
PIG.
Well, now we learn differently. I also thought that. We had it a few times, and Rashi says mefurish, it's nevela, and they talk about it, and there's a Tosfos. I think there's a Gemara in Me'ila, or Tosfos, what was it? Something in Me'ila that says, not like that, it's a question if Isur Chal is or not. But Rashi over here holds that Isur Nevela is Chal on top of it, and they bring a Gemara in Yavamis, I think, that says that you could have Isur Chal Isur in terms of the Oynish, in terms of the Isur, not in terms of the Oynish.
So that means that anybody that eats anything that's not kosher, any non-kosher animals.
The Gemara says Mefurish, by the way, in Makis, that if you eat a whole kazais of nimalim, that's a nevela. So that's a Mefurish Gemara in Makis. If you eat a giant ant that's the size of kazais, not only over on the 5 lavim of nimala, you also get another one called nevela. So yes, on that thing, yeah. What? No, that's the 5 isurim. That I already said. You get 5 lavim for eating an ant, but you could do more. You could be over more isurim on an ant if you do a nevela. Itmar.
Eli.
Yeah.
We have also a big siman because we have the home right now. It's a mice.
Yeah.
And he's looking for a home.
So what are you saying?
That's also part of the simnach. It's part of the simnach. Like we're redeeming. What does that mean? He's taking the home of the story. It's a story.
I'm saying Rabbi Abba heard the story. He's not making it up. He's not because. So yeah, he heard this myself.
Right. So it's not that he's looking for the home.
No.
It's that the Gemara is telling us.
Oh yeah. Okay. Or how do you understand right now? If I want to explain to you what Rabbi Abba said in 2 seconds, I'll tell you Chumrah, and I know the Chazer. Boom. By the way, just as a side note, the Marshas is like you were saying that it's a Avera Gereris Avera. It's a point of Avera Gereris Avera. Fine. Look, turn the page.
I know. And
Itmar.
just for you, 6 months in Pictory.
Itmar. Chame Yaur. There's 2 types of heated water. There's heated water, you take a kettle, you put it on your stove. It starts off cold and you turn it into hot. That's Chameur. And we're going to be discussing also Chami Tveria, the natural springs of Tveria. Chizkiya Omar, Ein noitlim em yadayim, you cannot wash your hands from with boiling water. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, noitlim mehem le'yadayim. You're allowed to use boiling water. If you're crazy enough to use scalding water, then go ahead, be our guest. Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Sha'alti es Rabbi Gamliel b'noisha Rebbe v'oichel taharos. I asked Rabbi Gamliel, who's the son of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rebbe, the author of the Mishnayos, who is known to be a tremendous tzaddik. And he used to eat even Chullin b'tahara, as if it was kachin. V'amar, and Rabbi Gamliel told me, Kol g'doili golul oisim kain, the g'doilim in golul used to wash their hands with boiling water. Now, by the way, boiling water is not that hot. Boiling water means that your hand recoils back. So if you go to the Heisa Mikvah, that's way more than Yatziledes. Like if you stick your foot in, you jump out, that's Yatziledes. It's not really going to burn you, give you, second degree burns or anything, but it's Yatziledes. So they would use that kind of water. So Rabbi Yochanan holds you're allowed to use scalding water and who is it? Chizkiya says you can't. So Tosfos says that we're not really talking about Yatziledes water, we're talking about hot water, but not Yatziledes water. Chami Tveria, natural hot springs. Ooh, Rabbi say I have a good picture for natural hot springs. Yeah, I got a good one. These are snow monkeys in Japan enjoying natural hot springs in the winter. Snow on their head, and they're just chilling out, chilling. Huh?
Looks like Meir.
And this guy's going, don't take a picture. I don't know. He's doing something, this guy. Yeah, he's like, no pictures.
2 weeks ago,
It looks like a spa.
It is. You see the smoke coming up here? It's great. I thought it was a beautiful picture.
2 Shabbos ago,
Yeah.
it was so cold.
The whole island was in the
They
mikveh.
had to chase people out of the mikveh because it's the only warm place. Sitting in the mikveh.
Chami Tveria, natural springs. So what's the problem with natural springs? Natural springs don't have a shas hakoisher, says Rashi. The water was never roi to be washable. It was never cold water. It was from its creation. It was created hot, so it's different. So there's a concept called tevilas yodayim. Tevilas yodayim is when you stick your hands into a mikvah, they become kosher. You don't have to wash your hands.
What they would eat.
You could stick your entire body and use the chami tveria as a mikvah. Do not put your face, hands, and feet in there. Rashi says that the yodav, panov, and raglov are extra. It's just agav. What we're really talking about is hands. We don't care about your face. Face has no concept in tahara. Who cares about your face? Hashto asked the Gemara, if you could do a whole tvila and your zav and your tar, panav yodav raglav kolchke, and what's going on here? You're right. If there's 40 saw and they're in a hole in the ground in the actual source of water, the kul amalei pligi the shari, of course you could be toivel your hands and everything is great. Mishkam minayu b'mana, but sticking in a washing cup into the water and pulling it out, the kuli amalei pligi the asir, then it's never mutter. Why? Because it never had a shasa kosher. Kipligi, where's the machlokes? The machlokes is a very simple one, whether or not we do a gzeira. What's the shaila? The paskinu bevasberta. There's a little channel coming off the hot spring to the side. Now the water in the channel is 100% kosher. Why? Because it's connected to the source, which is 40 sa. But the channel itself doesn't have 40 sa. So the question is, Mar Sober Gazrino and Bas Birta Atumana Rebechan holds that I'm worried that a person might stick a kli into the channel, and a kli, we said, according to everybody's asur, he might take out water and wash his hands. So he said, don't stick your hands into the channel either as a gzeira. But of course, la halacha would be okay. It's just a gzeira that we said it's not okay. Umar Sober, not running water. It's a connected channel to the source, to the hot spring. Like if you ever went in Tveria, the place called Chami Tveria, I don't know if it's real or not, but they have you never went there? They have pools of hot water that they say it really smells bad. And as Rashi says at the end, it has sulfur in it, that the water, Rashi in the beginning talks about the water being hot and that's why it's not good, but then he sticks in that it smells. And it actually does smell not very pleasant, sulfur. It's natural, it comes out of the ground. and I'm not. But when I was there, I had a little bit of a chashash that they turn on like the boiler to warm up the pool kind of thing. There's a giant pool and people are sitting around. We went at night and they made it for men, whatever. My son just went with his yeshiva this past week. It's an okay place, not highly recommended. But the point is, they pretend that they capture this natural hot water from the springs, and they made a giant pool, indoor, outdoor, and they sell Chullin on Thursday nights. Fine. Mar Sava Gezrinam Basbirta Dumana or Mar Sava Gezrinam. What? No, the Isser is a Gzeira that somebody might use the water in a Kli. Ketanoi, like we said before, everybody agrees that in a Kli is not good. Why? Because it didn't have a Shasa Kosher. It was never cold. Ketanoi, and we have a similar machlokes. Ma'im shenifselu m'shtiyas behema. If there's water that's so disgusting that even an animal won't drink from it, b'kelim psulim. If you wash your hands with a kli with them, they're possible. And here's the chiddush: b'karka ksherim. But if they're in a source, they're in a mikvah, it's no different. Nobody's going to drink mikvah water, right? I don't know if they're royal l'shtiyas behema, and memela, but they're okay for a mikvah. Reb Shimon ben Elazar Omer, af b'karka toiva b'em kol gufoy. He says you're allowed to do your whole body in those waters. Now the Gemara asks the same question. If you could do your whole body, it's certainly your hands. He must say that's talking about coming off of this disgusting animal not drinking water. They have a little channel, and in the channel, the same thing that we had a second ago. The question is, the water in the channel, do we make a gzeira and say that you're not allowed to use it because somebody might come and stick a kli and use the water with a kli, and that's asur. Okay, by the way, if I just remembered, Avi Kamiansky is not here today, but he asked me, and the Olam should know that on Motzei Shabbos he's doing a Milav Malka and he's bringing Rabbi Shor, and it's going to be a beautiful event with. Okay, if anybody's planning coming, Rabbi Shor, very famous, and I don't know what Avi did to have him come, but I'm sure he did something. And the Olam is encouraged to come. It's going to be a beautiful event, Motzei Shabbos, after the shir. So shir here is 7:30. About 8:30, we're going to walk over to Avi's house and have a shtickle malava malka, sushi, and men only. We're very, and he's doing it. He's trying to do something special for the shir. It was a shir kind of thing. So if the Olam could come, it will be a beautiful thing.
How many plan on coming?
Chaim is thinking about it.
Is there going to be something
Why
besides?
shouldn't we have the shia there?
No, there's gonna be.
I was thinking about it, and we were going to have the shir there, but he preferred at then not to, for preparation purposes.
You don't have to.
Whatever he decides, the shir was going to.
I was once at one of the sulfur baths in the
Yeah.
hotel, and the hotel put in too much sulfur,
Okay.
and there was a huge explosion, and we had to evacuate. They evacuated many of the floors in the hotel.
But you weren't in the
I
pool
was
at
on
the.
the top 10th floor, so I didn't leave. I said I'm not leaving, but the whole bottom of the floor was evacuated.
Okay, we got to
The
go.
place stunk. The whole hotel went crazy.
Probably, yeah. Omer Avidi Bar Rabban Omer Rabbi Yitzchok Bar Ashyon. Netilas Yodayim LeChulin. These are halachas l'maiser Rabbi. Why do we wash our hands before we eat bread? Says the Gemara, Mipnei Srach Truma. Midrabanan. Rabbanan said that all kohanim's hands are a sheni l'tuma. Srach is because we are concerned about truma. We want kohanim to wash their hands before they eat truma, because Rabbanan instituted a gzera that their hands become a sheni. Regardless of what happened, their hands are sheni l'tuma. Sheni l'tuma, if they touch truma, the truma becomes no good. If a sheni touches chulin, nothing happens. So, but Chacham said, once we made a gzera that all kohanim should be careful with their hands, and they should wash their hands before they eat truma, in order to make it easier for them, the whole world, everybody, Yisraelim that don't eat truma, everybody has to wash their hands, even for chulin. That's why today we wash our hands for chulin. And then here's the second thing, v'oid mishum mitzvah. There's a mitzvah. What's a mitzvah? Mitzvah l'shmai divrei chachamim, like it says, l'saser. What's the pasuk over there? Yom Nismal is the end. Yom Nismal. That's a different pasuk.
That's really
It's the vote. That's the mitzvah to vote.
No, Asher Kiddusham says so. Tzivanu the Chachamim mitzvah l'shmai divrei chachamim is. Now Tosfos says a little bit different than Rashi. My mitzvah, marbayim mitzvah l'shmai divrei chachamim. So Rashi says that the mitzvah va'oid is not an additional mitzvah. It's just explaining since they said srach truma, so we made it into a mitzvah. Tosfos says no, it's an additional mitzvah. In addition to truma, there's a mitzvah l'shmai divrei chacham because they wanted your hands to be clean, nikios. So they added there's two parts here. One is truma and one is nikios, and that's the mitzvah tells the chacham. Rav Amar mitzvah l'shmai divrei Belozah ben Aruch. He says it's one step more even. There's a source in the Torah. It's not the Doraisa, but there's a source in the Torah. So it talks about when the zav, you touch a zav and you must wash your hands. So you see that washing your hands is actually in the Torah. Omar Rebbe Lazar, that's right. We're going to get there. Omar Lazar, you're cheating over here with this thing. Enough with that. Omar Lazar ben Aruch, mikan samchu chacham lenetilas yadayim in Torah. This is a smach, though. In other words, it's not a dorai. So I have a source that the Torah talks about netilas yadayim. Ask Rav, Omar Rav Nachman, my mashma, where did you get this from? It seems like from the Torah that if the person washed his hands, then he's okay. Hatfila boy, the guy needs tefillah. This is of. So there's two things, says the Gemara. A person touching a zav is one thing. He becomes a rishon. He must go into the mikvah. But there's another guy. There's a guy that didn't touch a zav. There's a regular guy that wants to eat hamaitzi like us, and he didn't wash his hands, so he must wash his hands just to eat bread. Basically, it's an asmachta. If a person wants to wash his hands for anything else other than bread, let's say he's eating fruit, so he may do so, says Rabbi Elazar, for cleanliness. He gets zero mitzvah, there's no inyan at all, just to be clean. It seems like maybe there's a mitzvah. Stam, you want to be clean, be clean. By the way, I said this once before. What is the number one invention in the last couple hundred years that saved the most lives in the world? So a lot of people think it's antibiotics, it's this. Soap. Soap and water, washing hands saved, that's the invention that saved the most lives. So if you want to be nucky, you want to do nikios, and that's the whole story with the Jews. They thought the Jews were killing people. The pogrom.
Because everybody was dying for the pest and the Jews.
And the Jews didn't. That was in England, actually?
Also in England.
Okay.
Also in Strasbourg.
It's all over Europe where Jews were washing their hands. The dirty Jews were the cleanest. Yeah.
Dirty Europeans.
Says the Gemara, Amalu Rava, lo yichoyv. Oh, upligi the Rav Nachman. No Rav Nachman. Hanoito yodav lepeiros. Ein no yom legasei ruach. This is unbelievable. We see this concept over and over in Shas. If you try to be greater than thou, you try to be a big tzaddik, bigger tzaddik than other people, and the halacha says you don't have to wash your hands. And you're makbid. I want to be a tzaddik. You're not a tzaddik. You're a balgaiva. You're a gas ruach. You're haughty. So Rav Nachman says, don't think that it's a rishus to wash your hands. You don't have to, but if you want to be clean, you're actually a bad guy if you wash your hands. Now, no, we don't. Oh, hold on. I'm getting there. So if your hands are dirty, you may wash your hands and clean your hands to get off to remove the shmutz, but you don't do netilas yadayim. Now, halachically today, bismanenu, the Shulchan Aruch says that if you were to eat wet fruit that are wet right now, you take grapes, you wash them in the sink, you take an apple, you wash it, and it's wet, everybody's mechuyev to wash their hands netilas yadayim, just without a bracha, unless you're a grunic and you say al netilas yadayim. But you must wash your hands. I don't know if everybody knows that. A wet fruit, you have to wash or wipe off the fruit and dry it off completely.
Rav Nachman was saying over here.
Rav Nachman is talking about dry fruit that was washed maybe or whatever. But right now it's not wet. A story. Says Rabbi Bachano, I observed Reb Ami Reb Asi. I said the Kamayu kalkula the peri. They brought in front of them a basket of fruit. I saw with my own eyes they didn't wash their hands. They were so mean they didn't even offer me a fruit. Then they went off and they each made a bracha achrayna. Shema minot las. We learn from this three halachas. Shema mino ein netilas yadayim leperes. First of all, you don't have to wash your hands for fruit. Ushma mino ein mizamen leperes. You don't do zimun on fruit because if you do zimun on fruit, then they would have invited Rabbi Bachan and offered him a fruit and say, hey, we want you to join us so we can have a zimun. Ushma mino shnayim shachlu mitzvah lecholek. Two people that eat, it's better that one person, each individual, should make their own bracha.
Why do you learn from that? There's no mitzvah l'zamen. The mitzvah l'zamen is only once you have the chiyuv. You don't have to create the chiyuv.
Yeah, but when we learn brachas, you won't have the kasha.
Go out of your way to make a zimmer. That's what you know.
Also, you don't have to do chesed and share them freely with them.
Maybe, they were given it. It was for them. I don't know. Maybe you don't do chesed with other. I don't know. When is it said that everybody should bench for themselves? They were both Tamid Chachamim. Echad soifer v'echad bur. Soifer mevarech ubur yoytzei. Now, this Chaim Kornbluth would love. La halacha basically, bracha achroina, if you're in a place at a kiddush, and you know that people are not going to make a bracha achroina. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. They eat the kugel and they get up and walk out. Or even like the food that we have here, a lot of times people forget. So then it's better that one person should get up and make the bracha for everybody else. But in general, if you have two people that ate and they both know how to make a bracha, then you're not might see the other person, unless the other person is amaretz, a bur. Which I started thinking, sometimes you have guests, you have like a non-religious person, but you're not sure if he knows how to read or not, then it's better that you should get up and you should make Birkas Hamazon for that individual. Tanu Rabbanon. What? No. I mean, I don't mean literally get up. Be mighty. Basically say, I am rise to the occasion. That's what I meant. Yeah, thank you.
Rashi answers the question that they weren't mean guys. He was upset that they didn't invite him to a zimmer, not that they didn't give him to eat.
Yeah, the question is why. He's saying, but why? They had fruit and he's looking at Rabbi Mechan. I couldn't know. No, time out. It could be that he was a Talmud. I don't know exactly. It could be. Imagine Rabbi Kanevsky. You want?
No, but he
said for Talmud he would.
How come? No, if he was a Talmud, he wouldn't have a taina.
Not a taina. He didn't have a taina. He said, I'm learning halacha that Zimun. No, that's not what he said. And that was the point. The point is that he didn't have a taina. All he was trying to point out is the Zimun part. Torah Rabbanon. Netilos yadayim l'chulin ala perek. Rabbi say, how do we wash our hands for Amoitzi? So I don't know. I always stand there with the microscope and my kids. No, you got to go up to your wrist. Where do we get it from? To the wrist. Says the Gemara, Netilos yadayim l'chulin ala perek. What does ala perek mean? Up until, I don't know what this is called in English, the first knuckles.
Not the joint.
No, this is the knuckles. Okay, not until the knuckles.
These are joints.
This part, right before the knuckles. What is it called?
Proximal interphalangeal joints.
Rabbi said, watch me out of the proximal interphalangeal joint.
Second joint.
Shkoyach. If I told that to my kids, that wouldn't work. Now why? Yes, this guy. Not the first joint, the second joint before the knuckles.
It's the karate
Joint they understand. Fine. Why? Karate chop knuckles. Why? Because we're talking about a srach truma. We're talking about the whole point is that kohanim should get used to washing their hands. We don't care that much. This is mamish, the least of the least. And this is what you touch food with. Just this part. So you can wash up to here. But don't take this literally yet. That's the first sheet in the Gemara. Litruma adaperik. Adaperik, it means until what we call knuckles, till the end of the fingers. That's truma. Kiddush yadayim b'reglayim b'migdosh adaperik. Yeah, they also had a perik. You have to look in Rashi to see what adaperik means. It's not easy. Adaperik means, the last one means until the wrist. Tosis comes along and moves it down one joint. He says, it doesn't start over here. The first adaperik is the knuckle. The second one is till the joint. The third one till the elbow. And then he says, I don't like that pshat. He says, no, they can't be. But Akobam, there's one shita like that. Now, oive. So if we stop right over here, halacha l'maisa. The Rif says, now hold on. Okay, we're going to go weit. Let's just weit until the end of the sugya. V'chol davar shechoytzes b'tefila b'guf. Choytzes ben netilas yadayim l'chulin. In tefila, in the mikvah, what's choytzes by tefila in the mikvah? Midrabanan. It's ruboy. Ve'enu makpid miyut umakpid. In other words, if you have a tiny thing on your hand that really bothers you, you want to peel it off and it's not coming off, that is going to make a chatzitza on your body for tefillah. So that would make a chatzitza on your hand for netilas yadayim. If you're soiled 51% of your body, now you do it. No, a scab is not. A scab is part of the body. But I'm saying soil. If 51% of your body is dirty and you don't care, your moms don't care. You're a painter and you don't care. But it's 51% of your body. That's also midrabanan. It's a chatzitza. So if 51% of your hand is full of paint, erev Pesach, that's, even if you don't care, that's a chatzitza for netilas yadayim as well. Ubekidush Yodayim v'Raglayim v'Kdosh. What do you say? Choitzes b'Netilas Yodayim v'Cholam Ubekidush Yodayim v'Raglayim v'Mish. Omar Rav. Ad kan. Oh, he showed everybody. Ad kan. I don't know where he means over here. Ad kan l'Chullin. Ad kan l'Truma. Shmuel Omar. This is confusing. Ad kan bein l'Chullin bein l'Truma l'Chumra. So you see the word Chumra that explains us what Shmuel says. Basically, till the knuckles, even for Chullin. So now we have one sheeta that moves it down a little bit. Netilas Yadayim for bread is up until the knuckles. We don't have any sheeta really that Netilas Yadayim is until the wrist. It's until the knuckles. Now, Rav Sheshes Omar Atkan bein l'Chullin bein l'Truma l'Kula. He says till this the Mifra that one for Chullin and for Truma, both for Chullin and for Truma. Okay, so now the Riv comes along and says everything is until the wrist. Everything's till the wrist, like we said for Kiddush Yadayim Reglaim. So the Shulchan Aruch paskins that in our days we should wash our hands till the wrist. Provided, like the Gemara is going to say later, if there's not enough water, you're on a trip and there's not enough water, so then you can get away with up until your knuckles. But we should be makbid today until the wrist. Until the wrist. You see a lot of people going to the sink. They barely get their nails. You know what I'm saying? They go, it's a thing. So what?
Yom Kippur?
Yom Kippur is different. Yom Kippur is different because that's a whole. I don't know what everybody does. I go Yom Kippur till the first shita because right. So I don't know what everybody does. I know according to the Gra, you go until the first shita, the most lenient shita. So he says because it's Yom Kippur and there's an Isra Chitza, so you go up until here. Because you have tumah. The problem is you have tumah in your hands. You have to wash your hands in the morning. Fine. Says the Gemara. Omar Bahed, you have a kimnu kamei the Rebbe Ami v'Omar ad kam bein l'Chullin bein l'Truma l'Chumra. That Rebbe Ami said until the knuckles. V'lo yiteimer Rebbe Ami mishum the kohenu, and don't say he said it because he's a kohen and kohanim and they do truma until the knuckles. The Rabbi Yashua bar Berei, the Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, he's the son of a Levi who Levoi, he's a Levi. V'Omar ad kam bein l'Chullin bein l'Truma l'Chumra. Even Levim who don't eat truma, they said that it's l'Chumra. So it seems like from here, that's why it seems like from the Gemara Paskins that we should go up until the knuckles. The Rif adds until the wrist, and maybe we do until the wrist. Omar Rav. A person can wake up in the morning and wash his hands and say, I don't have enough water today, or I don't care about water, I have plenty of water. I don't like washing my hands. I know my kids won't eat amaitzi because they're not. So you wash your hands once in the morning, and it lasts you throughout the day. If you make a tanai and say this is good, obviously you're not going to touch any mikomis b'chusim. You're not going to make your hands tamei during the day, and then it's okay. He told the people of Pakta Arvois, you don't have enough water. I'm telling you a good idea. Since you don't have water, it's hard for you to get water. Wash your hands once in the morning and make it night. So maybe Rav Avinu said it b'dafka only to Pakta Arvois because they didn't have water. But otherwise, he disagrees with the Rav that just in general a person that has enough water could do this tonight. And some people say that he agrees to Rav. He just was telling them a good idea because they didn't have water. Have a wonderful day. What?